It started like any other night, the kind you never expect will end in horror. Ryan was tired, the kind of tired that seeps into your bones. After endless nights of overtime and buzzing, fluorescent lights, his office clock blinked 12 a.m. When he finally gave up and packed his things, the city outside was half asleep. Street lights flickering, distant sirens echoing through empty avenues. He reached Hollow Line Station, a stop he'd used countless times before. But that night it looked different, darker, older. Somehow the hum of electricity was gone. Only the faint dripping of water echoed through the tunnels. There was just one other soul there, a hunched old cleaner sweeping the same patch of floor again and again. Still running trains this late? Ryan asked, trying to sound casual. The man didn't respond. He didn't even look up, just kept sweeping over and over like a machine stuck on repeat. Then it came, not the sound of rails and wheels, but something deeper, a grinding like iron bones twisting beneath the earth. A train approached, but its headlights weren't white. They glowed pale yellow like sickly eyes cutting through the dark. The digital sign above flickered violently. The letters scrambled into gibberish, ancient symbols almost carved instead of displayed. Still, when the doors opened with the hiss, Ryan stepped in. He told himself it was fine, just an old maintenance train maybe. But the air changed the second his foot hit the floor. It was freezing inside, colder than the tunnels. The door slammed behind him with a sound that echoed like a heartbeat. The carriage was empty, or so he thought. Rows of cracked blue seats, windows blackened with grime. No conductor, no hum of electricity. Just a faint vibration beneath his feet, like the whole train was alive. He sat down, tried his phone. Static. The screen flickered, with distorted letters that twisted into strange rooms. Then for a split second, when the lights blinked, someone sat across from him. A man in a long coat, head bowed. Blink, gone, another flicker. Now there were two, another three. They were all pale, unmoving faces, smooth like wax, no eyes, just blank white orbs that reflected him. Ryan's throat tightened, his hands trembled. He told himself it wasn't real, just exhaustion, but the lights kept flickering, each flash adding more passengers, all perfectly still, all facing him. The sound changed. It wasn't the clatter of tracks. It was a pulse, like a living thing breathing through metal. He tried to stand, but the carriage stretched before him, endless, bending slightly as though gravity had lost its rules. Out the window there were no tunnels, just an infinite, black landscape dotted with faint figures walking beside the train. Slow, dragging, faceless shadows. A whisper crawled through the air, "You're late." He spun. The passengers hadn't moved, but now every head was turned toward him, dozens of empty eyes staring. He ran to the doors, but there were no handles, no buttons, no emergency exits, just smooth, cold metal. When he looked back, the seats were filled, dozens of passengers, maybe hundreds, and the smell, iron rust, something worse. Beneath the seats, old shoes scattered, different sizes, different decades. He saw a child's sneaker, worn and covered in dust. Then one of the passengers moved, its head twisted toward him, bones cracking. "Sit down," it whispered. He froze. Every other figure twitched to life, jerky, unnatural, as if puppets hung by invisible strings. They didn't breathe. They didn't blink. They only watched him. He banged on the door until his fists hurt, but the sound was swallowed. It was as if the train itself absorbed every noise, every scream. Then the train began to slow. Outside, a platform appeared, but it wasn't his city. It wasn't any city. The station stretched into blackness, lined with figures standing perfectly still. They were too tall, their arms too long, their heads tilted at wrong angles. The doors opened with a hiss. The figures outside turned their heads in unison. They didn't move, they just waited. Ryan backed away, his legs shook, but when he looked over his shoulder, he saw himself sitting in the seat, staring out the window with hollow white eyes. He gasped, tried to move, but his reflection didn't follow. It smiled a wide, broken grin, and his body, the one he saw sitting, blinked. He wasn't controlling it anymore. He wasn't in his body at all. He was the reflection, now trapped behind the glass. The lights flickered. The passengers leaned forward. The doors closed again. Outside, the waiting shadows began to board. They moved like smoke, seeping through the gaps, merging with the bodies inside. The whispers grew louder, hundreds of voices saying one word: forever. Ryan's vision blurred. Faces pressed against the glass, thousands, screaming without sound. A woman in a nurse's uniform, a soldier, a little boy clutching a teddy bear. Every one of them had boarded this train. None of them had left. The train moved again, faster this time. No tunnels, no city, just endless darkness. He thought of his life, his mother's voice. Sunlight, laughter, all of it fading like a dream. The hum of the train replaced his heartbeat. He realized it wasn't just haunted. It was alive. A predator, feeding on the tired, the careless, those who ride alone after midnight. It doesn't take everyone, just the ones who don't notice the details, the wrong color light, the silence, the missing sound of rails. Now he sits in the window, another pale reflection waiting. And when the next tired soul steps aboard, the sign will flicker again, whispering, "The last train from Hollow Line." And like every other before them, they won't survive.